Blueberry moonshine. Moonshine Life recipes. Ingredients: 20 pounds frozen blueberries, 5 pounds white sugar, 6 gallons spring water, 2 packets dry yeast, 4% teaspoons using bulk yeast. Directions: 1. Put frozen blueberries and 4 gallons of water in a large stock pot and heat up to 160 degrees. 2. Empty blueberry mash into a large enough container to mix in the additional 2 gallons water. Stir in the 5 pounds of sugar until totally dissolved. 3. Allow mash to cool down to 75 to 80 degrees. We let ours sit at room temperature overnight. 4. Create a simple yeast starter for 6 gallons of mash. 5. Add 1/2 cup of 110 to 115 degree water to a sanitized jar. 6. Add 2 teaspoons of sugar to the water and mix thoroughly. 7. Add 2 packets of yeast, 4% teaspoons using bulk yeast. 8. Swirl the glass to mix in the yeast with the sugar water. 9. Let the glass sit for 10 to 15 minutes and it will double in size. 10. Once your starter has doubled in size, add it to your mash and aerate. Transfer it back and forth in 5-gallon buckets too. Mix and aerate well. It should look foamy. 11. Empty the mash into large containers that can seal, and place a release valve at the top to allow gases to escape as the yeast does its job. 12. Allow to sit in a dark area. 75 to 80 degrees is the optimal temperature for this. 13. Wait 7 to 14 days for the fermentation process. Rule of thumb is when the bubbles are all gone, it is finished. 14. Strain mash mixture until you can run it through cheesecloth folded over 4 times. Straining. 1. Strain your mash several times through a very porous strainer until it finally runs through. 2. Discard anything that gets caught. New and clean 5-gallon Home Depot buckets work well for this. 3. Repeat this process again using a very tight strainer. Again several times until the liquid completely runs though. Discard all pulp that gets caught in the strainer. 4. Use cheesecloth folded over 2 layers of cloth to strain through, placed inside of the strainer to hold it in place. Strain again until all liquid runs through clean. You can rinse the cheesecloth as it gets clogged in cold water and then wring out the water so it is just barely damp. 5. Final stain is through cheesecloth folded over 4 times, so liquid has to pass through 4 layers of cloth. Repeat 2 times. 6. Your liquid is ready for the still pot now. Heating. 1. Number 1 rule to follow in heating up your pot is, low and slow is best. 2. Make sure you have cold water in the worm container all the time as the pot warms up. This is where the alcohol vapor becomes a liquid as it runs through the condenser coils in the cold water. 3. Our experience indicates it usually takes the liquid to warm up to just around 200 degrees before we see any shine dripping out of the worm. 4. Remember the first 2 ounces of a 5-gallon wash you need to discard. This is methanol and is not good for drinking. Cheers. Moonshine Life recipes.